A woman shoved broken glass and rotting food through a new neighbor's mail slot. She got 2 bags of cat filth launched into her spotless hallway and never showed her face again. This is a short one, but it hits hard, because sometimes the best revenge doesn't need a lawyer or a court date. It just needs a litter box. Stay with me. So back in 2001, I had just moved into a quiet little neighborhood with my 2 kids, ages 1 and 3, and my 3 cats. It was the kind of street where kids could ride bikes and cats could actually go outside without getting into trouble. Perfect setup for a young family, right? After the first week, garbage day rolled around. I had everything packed up properly, in closed bags, neat and tidy, all inside my personal trash container, set it out on the curb by 7 in the morning like everyone else. Then I went back inside and started cleaning. I had white floors because I liked knowing they were actually clean, especially with a crawling baby in the house. I left to do the grocery shopping, and when I came back and opened my front door, my jaw hit the ground. My entire hallway was filled with garbage, broken glass, sharp metal lids, pieces of food, soggy cartons, plastics, all of it shoved through my mail slot while I was gone. Somebody looked at a mail slot, the thing designed for envelopes and maybe the occasional flyer, and thought, you know what would fit great in here? An entire recycling bin's worth of hazardous waste. Creative? Sure. Sane? Absolutely not. I looked outside and noticed a bunch of neighbors watching me from behind their curtains and from their front steps. They had that look, the "we know exactly what happened, but we're not going to say anything unless you ask" look. So I asked, and they told me everything. A woman named Doris, who lived further down the street, had done this, proudly, in front of everyone. Her logic? Since I was the new person on the block, any loose garbage that ended up near the bins must have been mine, because before I moved in, that never happened. Oh, Doris, sweet, deranged Doris. Some trash blew around on garbage day, something that has literally happened since the invention of garbage, and your detective brain said must be the new family. Did you dust for fingerprints on the banana peel, too? Run forensics on the yogurt container? Something snapped inside me. I felt a bomb go off in my brain, and every ounce of politeness I had left just evaporated. This woman had shoved broken glass and sharp metal into my house, where my babies were crawling on the floor, where my cats were walking around. But I didn't lose it right away. No. First, I cleaned up the mess, put the kids safely in the living room. Then I went to the cat litter box. Now, normally, I just dump the whole thing into a bag and toss it, but today called for precision. I carefully scooped out just the clumps, the turds, the urine chunks, divided them evenly into 2 small plastic bags, the thin kind, the kind that rip real easy. She went surgical with the cat litter. Most people would grab whatever's nearby and throw it. This woman separated the solids from the substrate like a scientist, preparing samples, except the samples are cat poop and the lab is some old lady's hallway. I am in awe.
I walked down the street with those 2 bags hidden behind my back and rang Doris's doorbell. She opened the door with the smuggest grin you've ever seen, like she was proud of what she'd done. And I got a good look inside. Carpeted staircase on the right, open living room door on the left. Everything absolutely spotless. This woman clearly loved a clean house. Good for her. I asked her, very calmly, if she was the one who shoved that garbage through my mail slot. She said yes, without a hint of shame. Then she launched into her little speech about how I was new, and the loose trash must have been mine, and before I showed up, things were always tidy around here. That was the moment every blood vessel in my eyes burst. The calm was gone. I let her have it. I told her I wasn't the one who left that garbage out. I told her that if she had a single shred of decency, she could have knocked on my door and talked to me like a human being instead of shoving broken glass into a house with crawling babies and animals. And then I said it. You like cleaning so much? Here, clean this. I hurled both bags into her hallway. One smashed against the corner of her carpeted staircase. The other exploded on the doorframe of her living room. Cat shit and piss clumps everywhere. On the carpet, on the walls, dripping down the doorpost. Everything, and I mean everything, was covered. Direct hit. 2 bags, 2 targets, total annihilation. That carpeted staircase, done. That pristine living room entrance, destroyed. And the thin bags that rip easy, genius move. Maximum splatter radius. This woman didn't just get revenge, she engineered it. I told her if she ever tried anything like that again, I would smash every window in her house. Then I turned around and walked home. The entire street had seen and heard everything. And after that, nothing. Never heard a word from Doris again. Not a complaint, not a look, not a peep. Nobody on that street ever thought about messing with me either. To this day, I can still picture the face she made when those bags went flying. It was shock, fear, disgust, and absolute despair all rolled into one beautiful expression. The neighbors later told me she was about 65, a real granny type, and when I opened my mouth, her chin just moved helplessly up and down like she'd never been stood up to in her life. I never saw Doris after that. She apparently took different routes whenever she spotted me. I lived there for 3 more years, and we never exchanged another word. All right, quick breakdown on this one. Full marks for speed and creativity. This woman identified the problem, assessed the available resources, which happened to be a litter box full of cat product, and deployed a proportional yet devastating response within the hour. No lawyers, no waiting, no paperwork, just 2 bags of biological warfare launched with pinpoint accuracy into a clean freak's pristine hallway. You cannot teach that level of instinct. As for Doris, what did we learn today? Maybe, just maybe, when some trash blows around on garbage day, you don't assume it was the new neighbor and stuff their house with broken glass. Maybe you walk 30 meters down the street, knock on the door and say, "Hey, some garbage ended up near the bins. Was any of it yours?" That takes 2 minutes. Instead, she chose violence and got cat turds on her carpet for the rest of eternity. Some stains don't come out, Doris, physically or emotionally. Now, if it were me, Hades, god of the underworld, I would have handled this much more elegantly. I would have simply never cleaned the litter box in the first place, let it pile up for weeks, months. Then, when someone wronged me, I'd have enough ammunition to carpet bomb the entire street. That's not laziness, that's strategic stockpiling. You're welcome. If you've ever had a neighbor who messed with the wrong person, drop that story in the comments. I want the pettiness. I want the drama. I want every disgusting detail. Hit subscribe before I send something through your mail slot. The underworld has spoken.